want to draw that, draw 4 cards. Guys, I don't know. We just beat Green Stompy, Simic Ramp, and Temur Adventure. Alright guys, we're playing our mill deck versus Simic Ramp, it looks like. So we're going to pass the turn here. So what we have is, we have 11 counterspells total in the deck. We have Didn't Say Please, Drown Lock, Quenches. And it looks like he's playing Simic Ramp, from the Leafkin Druid to the Hydroid Colossus. So some type of Simic Ramp. I don't know what type. Yep, so we're going to go ahead and counter that. Again, we've seen how we did versus Simic Flash. We got him down to 13 cards in the library, but that's not how we win. And yeah, he gets quit. So, our deck is slightly getting... It's a fun deck. It's kind of competitive. So it's like, how do we win? Again, our mastery level is already... So let's go to the decks here. I'll show you how we kind of play. I'll see what's in the deck, and then we'll play another match. And kind of take it from there. So in the deck, we win with that planeswalker, that Japanese planeswalker that came out in M20, that Mu Yang Ling. Sky Dancer. So right here, we have 3 quenches, we have 4 drown locks, we have 4, so about 11 counterspells. Now originally I had this deck green. I had 3 Assassin's Trophies, where the time wipe is, and 2 Massacre Girls. The only problem with Massacre Girl, it's really good versus mono red, but there's less mono red as there was in December. So I'm making this the first week of January, so of 2020. So Massacre Girl's value has, in my opinion, gone down. So hence the time wipes I put in instead of Assassin's Trophies, instead of the Massacre Girl I put in Murderous Rider, and then we have this deck. So we have the Merfolk Secretkeeper, of course the Overwhelmed Apprentice, and understand it says each opponent put the top 2 cards of the library in their graveyard, scry 2, but we kind of went with Vantress Gargoyle. It's a 5/4 flyer, and it can attack if they have 7 or more cards in their graveyard, and then we kind of come over here with Mu Yang Ling, creating 4/4 flyers. Also, you can give a creature -2, and it loses its flying ability. So, the fact that we have a bunch of like 0/4 blockers, making a creature lose flying can be a huge thing. So that's kind of like what we're running with. So, we're going to go back and just try to play a match where they play the entire game. So yeah, let's see what's going on. We go first. Ooh, so Thought Eraser, Quench. We don't have a blue mana. We have blue mana. This would have been fantastic. We can stay on top of our opponent. Yeah, a little better. Keeps. This is tough. We'll bottoms 1 quench. Look at this. And I think the Overwhelmed Apprentice is going to be the way to go, because we need a scry. Because we mulliganed. Ew. Well, that's just nasty. Yeah, I don't see where we're going to be using a lot of quenches here. So let's put the quench down, put that on top. He's playing with, looks like he's playing with Temur Adventure. Yep. He could have a Lucky Clover in his hand, which you'd want to counter that. But let's bring down our Gargoyle. Attack with our 1/2 creature. So again, we're seeing another deck. the Adventurers deck has crossed into the top, so he's playing Temur. That was my fear. He dropped Lucky Clover. That was the only thing, but we put a Lucky Clover in the graveyard, so I was like, okay, mathematically, the odds of him having a Lucky Clover in his hand to sit back on Quench. That's why I pointed out Quench. I'm like, well, we could Quench, but that was the only card I feared. So I was like, okay, mathematically, he wouldn't have another Lucky Clover. He's got 2 in his graveyard. It would have been really great if we had another blue. Let's put 4 in there. So he's got 6 in his graveyard. We can't really attack. Yeah, we're gonna put the top card. So we're snagging some good stuff here. But with that Lucky Clover, he can Stone Crusher Giant this. So I really think if he didn't get down that Lucky Clover, we win this game. I really think so. Because he can Bone Crusher Giant this, and it'll double because of Lucky Clover. And here's where we have to just pound him for 6. You know what? I don't think we sit back and wait for a counterspell to counter stuff. I believe we just go after him. Are we actually going to beat back-to-back, like, border tier top 8 decks? Seriously. Like, I'm kind of joking around here, but I mean, like, they're playing with some serious decks. Like, this is... The Adventure has plummeted into the top 8 in Mythic Championships. You can go ahead and look that up. They have. It's a deck that we actually have. I believe it's deck number... I have to go check. It's in the 70s. I think our deck, the way it's designed, because we're not designed to kill you through mill. We have a lot of counterspell. We're designed to kind of disrupt you and then kind of overfly you. You know, a lot of flyers. Down to 10 life, so he's gonna have to... Nice, a Fae of Witches. He's gonna double Fae. He gets a Lava Coil. And then this. Yep. We were so close to beating them. They're going to win now, probably. Oh, we got him down to 5 life. There it goes. If he's going to cast this, we win the game. If he casts this, we just win the game, flat out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Done. We just beat Adventure! Temur Adventure, 17-0. Whoa, I can't sleep on this deck. We beat Simic Flash. We beat... Or, excuse me, Simic Ramp. Jeez. Play another match. This is kind of crazy. I just thought I was like, hey guys, it's gonna make a video. We're gonna develop a deck. We're kind of just gonna, you know, start it from scratch. And it's like, wait a minute. Did we just beat fringe top 8 decks? We did. 2. That will keep it. The way our lands are, they think we're like probably like Esper control. We'll probably lose this game. Yeah, Pellet Collector. So he's playing, let me guess, a Gruul. So he's playing green-red. Like, how do you know that? Well, so I know the percentages of how many pet collectors in particular decks. He could go green stompy. I don't know, but I'm thinking he's still playing. I don't think he realized that we can block. If we have 4 more cards in our hand, he's still a blocker. He didn't realize that. Oops. Alright. Let's get her down, create a 4/4 flyer. Or no, we have to +2 it. Submit 0. Alright, pass our turn. See how we kind of win? We kind of win with the flyers and then kind of like try to disrupt as much as we can. Kind of a really janky way of winning. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty bad. Yep. Everybody's gonna put a card on top of the labyrinth. Oh, we got rid of Shifting Ceratops. Okay, so he's playing green stompy. Put that into consideration. So he's got 3 mana. Let's create a 4/4 flyer. A bird elemental.
Beauty in the ordinary.
Let's intern. See how we kind of win? It's kind of like really bad, but we do have time wipe. We do have end of the story. We draw cards. Like it's pretty bad how we actually win. But having 11 counter spells in the deck is really huge. Questing Beast. Can we counter that? We cannot. We've only got 2 cards in the graveyard. We can definitely block Quester though. Alright, we can't kill it. Alright, we're gonna time wipe next turn. Pass. See what he does. Well, obviously he's going to attack. Alright, so we're going to time wipe next turn. So there's no point in blocking with him. We want to save her from getting hit. So he's attacking us, which is good. So what we're going to do is we're time wiping next turn. So we're going to peel the top card. We're going to make everybody peel their top card off. Ooh, got another Questing Beast. Pass to blockers. Block that. He trades, then it's our turn. Okay, Murderous Rider. And what we're going to do, he's got 4 in his graveyard. We can't attack. Actually, I don't even know if I want a time wipe. I can kill that if I want to. Do I want a time wipe? Still got Drown in the Loch. I don't think I do. Make that a 3/5. And a turn. Kind of weird. I'm not used to playing on this side of the fence. I'm used to playing versus those control decks. He's got 4 in the graveyard. Yeah, we're gonna counter that, obviously. Kinda wish I had time wiped. Alright. We're each gonna take a card, put you in the graveyard. We have Thought Eraser. We have 6 cards. Let's see here. Shifting Ceratops. The Great Henge. He went to attacks. He's got 7. Guys, he's not attacking us. I think he thinks we can block. So, yeah, let's just attack him. Pellet Collector. Crushing Brontodon. Okay, we're gonna time off next turn. Now he's gonna attack for 7, so he's gonna kill that. Smart move. We are going to time wipe. His turn. Bring that down. Bring that big boy down. Drop the gargoyle. Pass our turn. I'm really surprised he hasn't cast a Great Henge. I mean, with this guy being big. Sure. 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 Yep, green stompy, taking it out. So we're gonna go right there, Murderous Rider that. Let's see here. Here we go. 4, 5, 6. So we do need the 6 mana. Okay. Play this, enter tapped, and turn. So we have Drown Lock and then into the story. Dropping the Henge. Get some Henge action. Normally I'd want to counter that, but we want to kill that. Actually, the game's over. Now let's counter that. This game. Yep. Then we want to draw that, draw 4 cards. Guys, I don't know. We just beat Green Stompy, Simic Ramp, and Temur Adventure. I mean, Green Stompy's not a top 8 deck, but I mean, it's a respectable deck. It's like a tier, top of tier 3, bottom tier 2. Guys, I don't know. We got something going on. We're on a 3-0 run here versus decent decks. I think it's because we have 11 counterspells. And so if you think about it, Simic Flash has 15 counterspells. So we're only running 4 less counterspells than Simic Flash. And we have the Time Wipes, and we have the Murderous Riders, and we have that annoying planeswalker that you just saw that gives creatures -2 and loses flying. And we just have our flyers just come at our opponents. And really, there's a lack of flying in the format. So with a lack of flyers, big flyers, besides Hydroid Colossus and maybe the 5/5 Cavalier flyer, this flyer that I'm talking about here. I have them, I just don't want to play with them at all. I despise the Fires of Interventions deck. Despise it. But yeah, I think we have this is a decent deck. I mean, it's playing competitive decks. Like I want to say no, this deck's not competitive. But if we're beating fringe top, I mean, Simic Ramp is a top 8 deck. Temur Adventure squeaks in the top 8. So we can say Temur Adventure is a top 12 deck. I'll feel comfortable with this. It's a top 12 deck. Temur Adventure is a top 12 deck. Simic Ramp's a top 8 deck. And then Green Stompy's probably a little outside the top 12. Probably just like on the fringe. You know, it's somewhere in there. But the thing about it is that, like, what was it? Oh, Cavalier. Right? So we're not running these. So these are like the big flyers in the format, and that's used with Fires of Interventions. Typically, Flyers will run that, or Jizaki Control. As you can tell, I have a playset of Fires of Interventions, and I do not play with it. So how we're running is just kind of a little... You know, we just have enough to just annoy our opponents, and then kind of just enough to, yeah, we just have enough to kind of annoy our opponents. And you can tell it definitely kind of like is annoying to play against because we can kind of like quench your stuff or kill it and then time wipe it, and we just have these flyers. And it seems like nothing, you know, and we mill them a little bit at the beginning, and it seems like nothing, but it's something. It's like Seinfeld. It's like if you're too young to remember Seinfeld, it was a show that really had not like at the end of the show it was about nothing. It was like a show that started about something and ended up with nothing. The show, that's the reason why the show was so good and no other shows replicated Seinfeld. So if you grew up in the 90s, then you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, if you're Generation Zer, you're, you know, say, you know, then you're not going to know what I'm talking about. You have to watch one episode of Seinfeld, and they all start differently, but pretty much end the same. It's at the end of the day, people get screwed, and then it's all about nothing. It's kind of like watching The Office, except scripted. Kind of like that. Like watching The Office, except it's scripted, and there's no long, like each episode is a season in itself of Seinfeld. Where The Office, like each episode, they kind of matriculated one episode into another by creating storylines, like romantic storylines and stuff like that. Where Seinfeld was just an entire, like not one episode built into another episode. It was just one episode had nothing to do with the next episode, or nothing to do with the next episode, and that's what. So basically, when you watch Seinfeld, there's I don't know how many. There's like 100. There's over 100 shows of them. It's like literally, it's like 100 seasons of a show. Like each show was a season in itself, kind of thing. It's kind of weird, but you have to watch it anyway. I feel like our deck is like the Seinfeld deck, right? It's like we're a lot to do about nothing, but we just disrupt you a little bit. We have flyers, we can kill stuff, so that's what it feels like. Anyway, guys, you can feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, tell me in the comment section what you think. And we're 3-0 versus 2 top 8 decks and a top 12. Is that possible? This deck just does enough. It's not like we win very dominantly either. It's just it just does enough, just enough. Yeah, it'd be annoying to play against too. That's the one thing. It's highly annoying. All right, guys, and tell me in the comments to subscribe and like the video, and tell me in the comment section what you think of this deck. I can start doing deck techs. I'm not a big fan of doing deck techs, and I'll tell you why. I like creating my own decks. And number two, I can sit here and create 1,000 possible decks. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 1994 when I was a wee little kid, until 2004. I came back in 2011. I've seen every decade of Magic. Now we're in a new decade, 2020. So, all I can say, I'm making this video, by the way, January 3rd, 2020. All I can say is I could do a lot of deck techs, but to be honest with you, number one, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. So I'm sure there's people doing deck techs. So I feel like my place in Magic the Gathering is not the deck techy way. I can create deck techs for you, budget, expensive, but at the end of the day, it would just me be coming up with material. I just feel like it's artificial. Like deck techs are kind of artificial filling, because I can sit here and say, oh, put 4 questing beasts in your deck and put 4 of these in your deck, and then you're like, well, I don't have the finances for that. Then I can say, okay, well then don't put them in your deck, and here's a budget for them in this deck, and then what happens? You don't really have a complete deck. So I just play with decks that I would play with, and I'm just generating ideas so I can kind of different decks to play with. So that's how I'm doing it. So I wouldn't call it a deck tech. I would just call it just real life. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, feel free to subscribe, like in the comment section. That's it. All right, guys. I hope you have a good day. Thank you.